Have you ever had one of those nights when everything feels ordinary, too ordinary, only for a single moment to crack that routine and change everything you thought you knew about life? That was exactly what happened to Sarah Whitmore, a woman who believed she had her world neatly pieced together. A faithful husband. A quiet. The evening had started like any other. The clock ticked softly in the living room, its steady rhythm echoing through the silence of their suburban Virginia home. Sarah curled on the worn leather sofa, wrapped in a knit blanket, a steaming mug of chamomile tea warming her hands. The scent of honey lingered in the air. Earlier that morning, her husband, Daniel, had kissed her forehead in the driveway before leaving for a tech conference in Austin. It was one of those hurried embraces, his suitcase slung across his shoulder, his free hand gripping a granola bar, already halfway into work mode. 17 years of marriage had woven Sarah and Daniel together, their lives a tangle of routines, school runs, mortgage payments, Saturday grocery lists. They weren't unhappy. In fact, Sarah would have told anyone she loved Daniel deeply. Yet sometimes, in those rare moments when the house fell quiet, she wondered if their closeness had turned into habit more than passion. She remembered when Daniel used to linger in their doorway just to kiss her goodnight, or when he'd surprise her with weekend getaways. Those sparks had dimmed with time, and though she didn't blame him, she missed them. The house that night was serene. A lamp cast a golden glow across the living room, and Sarah finally cracked open a book she had promised herself she would read months ago. Upstairs, her 16-year-old son, Ryan, was probably glued to his headset, lost in an online game with friends. He wasn't the little boy who once begged her to read him bedtime stories. These days, he kept his distance, his words fewer, his laughter rarer. Sarah told herself it was normal, teenagers pulled away, and mothers had to learn to let go. But that knowledge never made the silence sting less. Around 9, the floor creaked on the stairs. Sarah glanced up, expecting Ryan to hurry past with a distracted goodnight. But instead, he lingered in the doorway, hands shoved into his hoodie pocket, an almost shy look on his face. "Hey, Mom," he said softly. Her heart lifted. "Hey, sweetie. Everything okay?" He shifted, his lanky frame awkward, his green eyes searching hers. "I was thinking, maybe we could hang out. Play a game or something. You know, like we used to." Sarah blinked, her chest tightening with an unexpected rush of joy. "Of course," she said, her voice thick with emotion. They dug out an old deck of cards, the corners frayed from years of use, and settled into a game of rummy. At first, the rhythm was clumsy, Ryan fumbling the shuffle, Sarah teasing him about how he used to sneak cards as a kid. But soon, the laughter came easier, the silence between them softening into something warm and familiar. After a few rounds, Sarah brought out pretzels, apple slices, and sodas. They leaned back on the couch, munching between turns. Then Ryan set his cards aside and stared at the ceiling, his voice unusually quiet. "Mom, do you ever feel like you're living someone else's life?" The question stopped her cold. She searched his face, her pulse quickening. "That's a big one," she said carefully. "What do you mean?" He sighed, brushing a hand through his tousled hair. "I don't know. Sometimes it feels like everyone's just playing parts. Like you and Dad, work, bills, the same routine every day. Do you ever wonder if there's supposed to be more?" Sarah's throat tightened. Daniel's face flickered in her mind, his kind smile, the comfortable predictability of their life together. She loved him, but Ryan's words echoed thoughts she had pushed aside for years. "I think," she said slowly, "sometimes we build something so safe we forget to ask if it's what we really want. Comfort can be good, but if we're not careful, it can start to feel like a cage." Ryan nodded, his eyes distant, as though turning her words over in his head. Then his voice dropped lower. "It's not just about life in general. It's about me. About who I am." Sarah leaned forward, her chest tight with both worry and love. "Ryan, you can tell me anything. You know that, right?" He hesitated, then met her gaze. "I think I might be non-binary. I don't feel like I'm just a boy. I'm not a girl either. I'm somewhere in between, and I've been trying to figure out what that means." For a moment, the room felt suspended, as if time had stopped. Sarah's heart raced. She reached for his hand, her grip steady. "Ryan, thank you for telling me. That's brave. And I want you to know I love you. Whoever you are, however you identify, I will always love you. His eyes glistened. I was scared you'd be disappointed. Never, she whispered, squeezing his hand. I just want you to be you. They sat there, the weight of his truth settling gently between them, until the lights flickered and went out, plunging the house into darkness. Sarah laughed nervously. Perfect timing. They found flashlights and went to the basement, where Sarah noticed a window latch bent out of shape. A cold shiver ran through her. Did you open that? She whispered. Ryan shook his head, voice firm. No. For a moment, unease pressed in, but then Ryan's lips curled into a small, almost shy smile. This might sound weird, but I'm glad this happened. The blackout. The quiet. It got us talking. Really talking. It's been a long time. Sarah pulled him close, her eyes stinging. I've missed you. Back upstairs, they lit candles and curled into the couch. Then Ryan hesitated again. There's one more thing. I've been hiding it because I didn't want to upset you and Dad. I don't want to study business. I want to write. I applied to creative writing programs. And I got in. A school in California accepted me. He pulled up the acceptance email on his phone. Sarah's breath caught. Ryan, this is incredible. Her voice shook with pride. I'm not disappointed. I'm proud. Beyond proud. I just wish you told us sooner. For the first time in years, he grinned wide, a genuine smile that lit up his face. Thanks, Mom. That means everything. Just then, the lights blinked back on, washing the room in golden glow. They laughed, blowing out the candles, but neither of them wanted to let go of the moment. Later that night, as Sarah climbed into the empty bed she shared with Daniel, she found herself thinking of him, not just the man who kissed her forehead in the driveway, but the man who once held her close like she was the whole world. She wondered if telling him about Ryan's truths would draw them closer, maybe even spark some of the intimacy they had lost in routine. Because love, she realized, wasn't about perfect plans. It was about listening, embracing, and choosing each other through the uncharted paths. When Daniel returned 2 days later, Sarah told him everything. It took him time, especially to process the shift in pronouns and Ryan's choice to walk a different road than they had planned. But after a long, heartfelt talk, Daniel reached for her hand in bed that night, holding it in a way he hadn't in years. There was romantic warmth in his touch, the reminder that their love was still alive, just waiting to be rekindled. And Sarah knew, in that moment, that life had changed forever, not with fireworks, but with the quiet bravery of her child and the gentle choice of two people still willing to grow together.